Okay, this is the video for the 499th main prediction for the fire signs of 1 Kings 18, which is the 749th main or sub prediction. We're predicting Shabbat 1 to 21, which is January 16th to February 6th, and we're for the second fire sign, and we're predicting Shabbat 20 to 22, which is February 4 to 7 for the third fire sign. What's happened is we've moved the month in which we became Isaac to be 2016 Ab, which is great because it coincides with the third kingdom jubilee. In fact, we now understand, which is a great reason why we may actually have this right, how the jubilees work. 2008 Nisan 14 was a jubilee, a monthly jubilee, a multiple of 50 months after Adam sinned. And you know, Jesus died on a jubilee. 33 Nisan 14 was a jubilee month. Abraham validated his covenant. 1943 Nisan 14, that was a jubilee month. And the end of Michael's lease is of course a jubilee, and that was 2008 Nisan 14, a 6,000 year lease. That was the end of the ARC world, but not the end of the world of Satan. And the next jubilee is 2012 Sivan 14, when we died to Adam and became Abrahamic. Those of us who were Adamic, those who were Canaanian, did it a month later, because I don't know what the fraction is. I don't know how many Canaanians there are and how many Adamics there are, but I'm sure the Bible has that information, but I've never seen it, not really looked for it. Then the next jubilee is 2016 Ab, and that's when we become Isaac. And then the next jubilee is 2020 Tishri, and that's when the Holy Spirit finished being baptized into reverted Laodicea. That's when the last HLC, Heavenly Lord, because the Holy Spirit has kings and lords. And Jesus is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and it's no good being a king if you don't have an administration, and the administration is all the lords. You know, it's the public sector is the lords, and the big boss is the king. That's how the kingdom is run, with 144,000 kingdoms of that type, with that administration in heaven and the same mirror of it on earth. So the last Heavenly Lord baptized on Atonement Day, which was the Jubilee release day, Tishri 10 2020, and that completed entrance into the third Holy Spirit, although the fourth HLC bride did not. The Passover was Heshvan 14, and she died and was Passover executed on Heshvan 14 and married on Heshvan 18, I think. And then the fourth Jubilee of the post-ARC kingdom is 2024 Chislev. 10 will be the Jubilee release, Chislev 10, and that's entrance into the late Babylonian LRC Passover, which is the end of the escape from false religion of all of God's people, not the kings and the lords, the citizens. And that's LRC for the love ransom covenant. So those are the four kingdom jubilees, and we now understand what the release is in the case of each one. And it is important because having Ab as the beginning of Isaac Zoa bumps the whole chronology forward a month. We had it as Thames before. And the other advantage of this new chronology is that we used to have Michael's non-Adamic restoration lease being 48 months long, which is ridiculous. The release from that lease will be 50 months. It was obviously going to be a 50-month lease. I don't know why we couldn't see it. So what that means is that he was appointed in 2012, Sivan 16, as Caesar to Adam, and 50 months later is Ab, when he kills Adam by Passover execution. Abraham. He was appointed as Caesar to Abraham 2012, Sivan 16, Abraham coming into existence on that day. And 50 months later is Ab, when Abraham was killed and converted to become Isaac, non-Adamic Isaac. So that's another reason why we think we got it right with the abject. And the main reason why we must have it right is that not a nice way to confirm it, but the nuclear war of the unprecedented tribulation, which lasts 12 days, of Mark 13 verse 17, the length of the woe, it counts as 12 times because it's woe to the ones in belly having, that's in belly, if you've got something in your belly and there's you, that's 2 of you, so that counts 2, and it's a plural, Greek plural is 4, and the ones getting sucked, that's another 2, that's 6, in those days, that's another times 2, that's 12, so that's the length of the woe is 12 times, and it has to occur in Hebrew winter, which ends at first fruits, which is Nisan 20. And it's the last 12 days of Hebrew winter, which is Nisan 8 to Nisan 12. You know, which is not far away. Today is, I don't know what it is, it's January the 23rd, which is Shabbat 8 or something, or 9. So we're a couple of months away from the nuclear war of the unprecedented tribulation, and we're a month away, or less actually, from World War III, if this chronology is right. And the point is that they must, the unprecedented tribulation occurs in those days, which days are days of winter. And so the last possible time it could occur is the last 12 days of Hebrew winter, otherwise we're a year out. And we cannot be a year out for lots of reasons. Anyway, so we bumped the chronology forward for Isaiah Zohar by a month, and the sacred year for Isaiah Zohar is now an Ab-1 sacred year, and that pushes pretty much everything forward. And also we've had finally got a reasonable understanding of the appointments and the installations of all the true churches, and that's in understanding 659 at the top. We've also got an amazing new understanding of the calls into those churches, the Spirit Sanctification calls, which are the 12 greater tribes of Israel, and we've married them up to the original 12 tribes of Israel. 3 tribes to 4 divisions. Each of the 4 divisions is a true Christian church. There are 4 true Christian churches, and the 4 rows of 3 jewels on Aaron's ephod is the same thing. And so you got to get 3 spirit calls into 4 churches. Well, actually, they don't actually have to be into the church themselves. They can be into a previous church, so long as people from that call went into the next church. But allowing yourself that latitude, you can fit the 3 calls basically into 4 churches, which you have to do for Revelation 21, and you have to do for Matthew 20, the calls into the vineyard, which we do in understanding 192. And you know, there's got to be a Christian fulfillment to the way that the Jews encamped and marched, your marching order. So that's really cute. And from all that we worked out that actually we got appointed over the 2 NCs in Isaiah Zohar, and I'm not quite sure, but we got installed on Tebeth 21. So we got appointed on Eshvan 2 or Chislev 2, I don't know which, it's on the website. That's 2016. And so the fundamental malediction of the contest of 1 Kings 18, the Lord's Witness Alienation Times, runs from 2016 Tebeth 21 to 2023 Tebeth 21, and then there's a 30 or 31 times sentence count of 1 Kings 18 42 to 44 after that, which takes us from Tebeth 21 to Shabbat 21 22. And we go for Shabbat 20 to 22 for the 3rd fast sign. For the 2nd fast sign, we start from when the 498th failed on Tebeth 22 and was seen to fail on Tebeth 23, and we count, and we have to go 7 times forward from that, which takes us to Tebeth 29:30, and then any Sabbath, any 7th, up to the 21 times sentence count of 1 Kings 18:44, which is the cloud like a man's palm ascending from the sea in the 7th, which is 3 times 7, which is 21. So that takes you to Shabbat 21 max. Also from 2 Kings 1, we must have a volcanic sign, and there's quite a lot going on in Iceland at the moment, before or on Shabbat 21, or both, I think. Because Shabbat 21 is the 2nd chief of 50 of 2 Kings 1, that would indicate the third fire sign should occur on Shabbat 21 in some time zone, and that is the second and third fire signs, our latest concept of when they are, which hasn't really altered in the last half dozen predictions, which has bumped it forward a month every time. And the reason it's difficult to get these things right is because they're dependent on a new year, and the year start, you don't necessarily know it, and if it's the next month, the whole thing gets bumped forward a month. But when we update the site, you can't just bump everything forward a month, otherwise I could automate it. Some things go forward, other things don't, and then you realise you've made mistakes, and that's how you learn. So thank you very much. That's the 499th main prediction, the 749th main and sub prediction. Incidentally, we're only allowed to make 747 incorrect predictions. We've now made 748, but you know, it depends how you count them, whether you count the sub predictions, whether you count the prediction extensions, all the rest of it. Anyway, we're one out at the moment, but I do think that this, as always, but this one, there's too many things that fit really well. I mean, another one is that the Gentile times ends 2020 Tishri 50, and then Jesus gets a lease over Adam from Tishri 20 first fruits, Mosaic first fruits, and over Cain from Heshvan 16 festival first fruits, festival Sabbath first fruits. And if you count 50 months from Cain's lease, you end up in Tebeth, which is the end of Zoa entry. So again, the way you can get this is all jubilees. Actually, if only I'd known this 17 years ago. But it's a jubilee of after the end of the Gentile times is the end of Zoa, and then the end of the world is a month after that, because there's a month of the last chance saloon. So there's another proof. I've got I think 14 or 15 of these proofs now. Another fantastic one is the 127 jurisdictional districts of Esther of Artaxerxes. And a jurisdictional district is, I mean, a church gets jurisdiction, its law comes into force on the Pentecost. That's what happened in 1513, Sivan 7 with Moses. So it stands for 127 times 50, which is 6,350, which takes you from 2006 Sivan 1, the revised sign of Jonah letter, which started the contest as regards our revised first prediction. And 6,350 days later takes you to 2023 Tebeth 21, which was the end of the Laodicean rapture, when there is no more contest, because they're all in an ark and they're told damn well who I am, and they don't need a contest to know that I'm an Elijah. So the contest ends when they're all raptured and they meet the Lord in the air. Now we get raptured. We, in the true church, get raptured in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, of 1 Thessalonians 4, 16, 17, and those clouds are of the fire signs. So we actually think that we go up, we start going up on the 16th and finish going up on the 21st, because you have to escape from Egypt during booths, according to Leviticus 23:43. So we expect the second fire sign to be Shabbat 16 and the third fire sign to be Shabbat 21. But we're predicting something a bit more general than that. Thank you very much.